Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is the ABBA YAH, and I give all praise, honor, and great esteem to the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua, HaMessiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say shalom, wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait until the day that the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant. Hallelujah. So I wanted to talk just for a very brief bit here. The ABBA suffered a substantial loss last week. One of my teachers passed away, and it was a hard pill to swallow. And I'm not trying to dwell on this because I'm not a man worshiper. However, when you learn from a person and that person is a benefit to you, once that is gone, that is definitely a problem for you. That leaves a void in me, and that depletes the teachings that I was receiving. So I went from receiving regular teachings to now not receiving those regular teachings. So the best thing I can do in this particular situation is continue with what I have learned from this particular teacher. And I would say to anybody who learns from any person, first of all, the Most High can use anybody. The Most High can use anybody to teach you what it is you need to know. And if a teaching style or a teaching topic appeals to you, and it's something that you need to know or something that you haven't learned, then obviously that's the Most High trying to get some information to you. Because the Most High is the power of knowledge. He is not the power of ignorance. He doesn't want us to be ignorant in what's going on around us and what's going on right next to us. He wants us to be abreast of everything, of all information. You think when King David was running Israel, you think King David didn't know what was going on in the lands next to him, in the lands around the way from him? The people that he didn't see on a day-to-day basis, you think he wasn't keeping abreast of what was going on there? That's how rulership works. You have to have knowledge. You have to know what is going on. Now, one lesson that I value so very deeply, and I want to teach this lesson to my daughter, and I'm going to share it on this video here, that this teacher that I lost last week, that he taught and that I gleaned from, it is called the high demand woman. Now, as a man seeking to make his place in the earth, there is going to be a certain woman that this man is looking for. Now, for a Hebrew Israelite like myself, the very first piece of the puzzle, of the pie, is going to be, she's going to be set apart. She's going to have to be with the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High Power of Israel. She's going to have to keep the faith or the belief in HaMessiach. And she's going to have to endure until the end. That goes without saying. But other classifications or other qualities that this woman has to have, number one, it has to be her mindset. Not only does she have to have a set apart mindset, she also has to have a mindset of a cooperative woman. She has to be cooperative. She has to be able to deal with a man, to get along with a man. And men want more from women than anything else. We want cooperation. I shouldn't have to say, I want to do X and you don't want to do what I want to do. You want to do your own thing. That's not what a man works hard to get to, and have a woman basically go completely against him. I've experienced that. It's not a good feeling. So she has to be cooperative. Also, she has to be smart. And I don't mean she has to be a bookworm. You know, first of all, she has to deal with Torah. She has to know what she can and cannot do. That's number one. Number two, she has to be smart. She has to be able to carry a conversation. She has to be able to represent you in the right light. She has to be a mirror representation of you. And as you carry yourself with intelligence, with integrity, and with stamina, she has to be able to do the same, because she is an extension of you. And she also has to be agreeable. That goes right back to the cooperation. She has to be agreeable. Those are the two most important things as you deal with a woman. You have to have a smart woman, and she has to be agreeable. So she has to be cooperative, she has to be smart, and she has to be agreeable. All three of those. If I say, let's get up and go to Congo, I shouldn't hear, well, I don't really want to go to Congo. Why don't we go to Paris? I don't want to go to Paris. I said Congo. I didn't say Paris. Let's go to Congo. I don't need a woman giving me pushback on where I say we should go. I don't need a woman giving me pushback on where I say we should live, or what we should eat, or anything of that nature. She asked me, what do you want to eat? And I say, let's have some lamb, or let's have some goat. She said, well, I don't really feel like goat. How about we have vegetables? What you asked me for then? If I say lamb or goat, then you should say, well, let's go get some lamb and goat, or goat. You want both, or you want one? And then we can have some vegetables on the side. That's the mindset that a man is looking for. Number two, she must be fit. She must be physically fit, and she must be mentally fit. Now, fitness entails three major factors. And the three major factors that come with fitness are these. Number one, discipline. You have to be disciplined enough to put in the work to get to where you want to be. To be mentally fit, to be physically fit. To be physically fit, you have to exercise, weight train, and diet. To be mentally fit, you have to read, you have to study, and you have to develop your comprehension. So you have to have all three of those. That requires a level of dedication. So you have to be dedicated to what you're doing, to your physical fitness, to your mental fitness. You have to be dedicated in those things. And then you have to be discerning. She has to be discerning. She has to be able to see what's coming. She has to be able to know when things are good and when things are not good. Because a man isn't always going to just open his mouth and say something. Sometimes a man is just, he's going to let stuff roll off his back. That don't mean it doesn't bother him. But he don't have to open his mouth every time he has something to say. Every time something is not going the way he wants it, he doesn't have to open his mouth and complain about it. That's more of a woman thing. Men tend to take things. Men tend to hold things. That's how we're built. We're built to carry things. So our shoulders are broad because we carry things that are heavy. And that extra weight it multiplies over time. It adds up. So she has to be disciplined. She has to be dedicated, and she has to be discerning. That's how she's going to maintain her physical and mental fitness. Number 3, she has to be feminine. She has to be a feminine woman. It has to be consistent. She has to be constantly feminine. It's not a femininity that you can turn on and turn off. I've seen women be sweet and kind, and then all of a sudden she all up in a man's face, rolling her neck. Talking about, I ain't gonna let no such and such do this and that, or whatever the case. That's not what a man is looking for when it comes to a high demand woman. Now, if you want a chicken head, then you're looking for a woman that can roll her neck. But if you want a high demand woman, these are the qualities that she's going to have. She has to be feminine constantly. It's not an on and off. I'm soft here, I'm rough here. You try to get here, I'm rough. You can't be rough as a woman at any capacity. It doesn't play. It doesn't fit. She has to have a feminine affection. As a woman, there's a quality that makes a woman, that appeals to a man. It's that feminine affection. It's just that feminine touch. You know, you can see it in the wild kingdom. My favorite animals, the lions. You ever study them, you ever see them, see how they interact with their cubs, see how the female interacts with the male when she has time with him. There's a natural feminine affection that's in this woman. And this is the same woman that hunts and takes down prey. But when it's time to submit to this man, that feminine energy is high. You know who the female is, not because the male has the mane, but because this female is exactly that. She's female. So you have to have a feminine affection. You have to be accommodating. A high demand woman has to be accommodating for her man. I talked about earlier about her mindset being cooperative and agreeable. Well, part of that, of her being feminine, is her being accommodating. Meaning if her husband says, I need you to do X, or we need to make X happen by X time, she's with it. She's not putting up a fight. She needs to be accommodating. And this one is kind of the cherry on top. She has to have a subtle sophistication, meaning there's a quality that lurks in a woman that doesn't often show itself. Because a woman sometimes can get, it's like a man can get angry. And people, it's really hard to even put in words. But when a woman gets angry, she tends to turn masculine. That fight or flight energy, that fight or flight, that adrenaline goes in her body, and it takes her to a place where she's either supposed to fight or run. But a woman with a subtle sophistication, in any situation, she has the ability to remain in her feminine form, in her feminine energy. And that fight or flight, that doesn't take place because in her mind, in her spirit, she's connected to this man. And when she's connected to her man, she knows her man has her interests in his mind. That gives her that subtle sophistication. So even when things look to go left, she's still at a place where she can operate as this high demand woman. That's the subtle sophistication. Being able to remain in that feminine form, in that feminine energy, regardless of the situation or the circumstance. Number 4, she has to be naturally nurturing. She has to be a natural nurturer. What does that mean? That means that she's carefree. So she has to be in that space where she's protected and provided for. And this man that she's with, this has to do a lot with the man that she's with or whose house she's in. Because if she's in her father's house and her father has done a good job at providing and protecting for her as a part of his house, you'll get these qualities. So she has to be carefree and not rigid. Meaning this is it's straight this way, it's that way. I can't do it unless it's this. Have to be able to go with the flow. If your husband say, this is what we need to do, again, it goes right back to that mindset, that cooperation, that being agreeable, being carefree and not rigid. Number 2, she has to be, the second part, she has to be easygoing. Can't want to fight at every turn. Can't want to take off your earrings and kick off your shoes and let's do this in the middle of the street. She has to be easygoing, easy to get along with. Number 3, she has to take great pleasure in being a woman. I don't want to be a man. I want to be what I am. I want to be a natural, feminine, soft, subtle, sophisticated woman. And she has to take great pleasure in that. She also cannot operate in a scarcity mindset. She can't have a scarcity mentality. She has to be abundant minded. So this is a particular type of woman because again, the only way you're going to have an abundant mindset is if you come from a home with abundance or if your mind has been trained to live with abundance. Meaning that you're happy with what you are, with where you are. So you have to have an abundance mindset and not operate in a scarcity mindset. If I don't get this now, I'll never have it. If I don't do this now, I'll never be able to do it. She also fixes things that needs repair. And I didn't realize how important this piece of it was. But this goes right back to that. This is right a part of that naturally nurturing. She fixes things that needs repair. Like plants and animals. If you meet a woman that don't like plants, that don't deal with plants and doesn't like animals, you probably need to keep going past her. Because this woman, she lacks that naturally nurturing aspect of her. She's more of about herself. But a woman that can put time, effort, energy, and thoughts into plants and animals and fixing them, helping them, developing them, that's the kind of woman. That's the kind of woman that is a high demand woman. That is a high demand woman. Lastly, she understands what's important in life. And she works on those important parts. So as a Hebrew Israelite, I understand what's important to me. And that's following the Most High, giving him everything that I have. This woman also believes in the same manner, giving the Most High all that she has, all that she is. As she works on the important things of life, the Most High being the most important thing, number one, nothing above him. That includes him keeping his Torah, the faith in the Messiah, and his return and our deliverance, and enduring until the end. Number two, under that would be family. She understands the importance of family. And to a man, if your family is your legacy, how you raise your children and how your children operate in the earth after you're gone, that is your legacy. After family, there's friends, people you associate with and people who you build with. After friends, you get to your network. And your network is how your reach is able to go further than just where you are. That's how you're able to go further. That gives you a longer reach. That's your network. And after that is the community. How are you affecting the community? How is she affecting the community? Because even though you're a man working at the highest capacity you're able to work, to get to the highest level you're able to achieve, to help the most people you're able to help, how is it that this woman, who is a high value, who is a high demand woman, how is it that she is able to affect the community as well as you? She has to have a positive effect on the community. Again, she is an extension of you. And she is this high demand woman that has been sought throughout the ages. In every culture, in every continent, in every place on this planet, this particular woman is the woman that men have sought to come in contact with, to marry, to be their woman. And understanding what's important, dealing with the Most High first, the family, friends, the network, and helping the community. She understands to make a life and not just a living. She wants to make a life and not just a living. This man, her being with you, you being her man, does not make you her living. She understands that all that you're building together is for a life worth living, not just making a living as in making money to live, but making a life, and a life would go into the legacy. A life would go into the legacy. So this is probably the best lesson that I learned from my teacher who I lost last week. He taught us about the high demand woman. He gave us these bullet points. And this is what I seek to make my daughter, and the woman that I seek to make my wife. The high demand woman with these attributes, with these qualities: mindset, cooperative, smart, agreeable. All three of these. She must be fit, physically and mentally fit. That means disciplined, dedicated, and discerning. Feminine, must be a constant femininity. She has to have a feminine affection. She has to be accommodating and also have a subtle sophistication. She has to be a natural nurturer, meaning she has to be carefree, easygoing, takes great pleasure in being a woman. She doesn't operate in a scarcity mindset, but an abundance mindset. And she fixes things that needs repair, such as animals and plants. She understands what's important in life. Family, friends, the Most High first. Family, friends, and the network, and the community. She understands about making a life and not just a living. So, my wonderful teacher will be sorely missed, and I'm thankful for the time that I was able to learn from this particular teacher, and I'm thankful for what I was able to learn. And I give all praise, honor, and great esteem to the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua, HaMessiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom Wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait until the day that the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant. Until that day, Shalom, family.